Hi class, welcome to another class on CS 575. This time we will talk about the mixtures ARMA model. So when we saw in the previous lecture when we only dealt with AR, when we only dealt with MA, and this time we will deal with AR and MA. So basically ARMA is a combination of MA1 and AR1 models. So you can see we define Y in terms of C. So we have phi 1 and yt minus 1. Since you are having a lagged time series here, so this particularly represents the AR model. And since you are having only one lag, it represents the AR1 model. Now this basically represents the error term with a coefficient. Again, since only one error term is considered, this is a MA term with a lag of 1. For your convenience, I have kept the standard formula for AR model up to pth order and up to qth order for MA. So you can see yt is, we have a c in both the cases. So because both are constants, you can combine them and keep it as a single constant c. Similarly, the error term in AR and MA together can be clubbed together to form a single error term ET. Right now, since we are having AR MA 1 we need to keep one term of AR and one term of MA. So you can see this particular term is taken here and the first term of the MA model is taken here, right? So this becomes the AR-MA model or ARIMA 101 because we have assumed that the data is stationary, so there was no differencing required and hence the differencing term was 0. So why do we call this as a mixture AR-MA? Because this represents the AR term, this represents the MA term, and the final output basically depends on AR as well as MA. Now, if the series is non-stationary, so what do? You do differencing to make it stationary. So what happens? The equation for the simplest ARIMA 1, 1, 1. So you see that this term was there in, so basically a new term that comes here is the differencing. So as you see, this was there in the previous case, this again was there in the previous case, this was in the previous case. Now just take a note of this. You can see this, I can take psi 1 common here and this basically will become yt minus 1 minus yt minus 2, right? So this is nothing but the first difference from the lagged version 1 to the lagged version 2, right? So you can see this is basically the coefficients are same psi 1 because we are just differencing, right? So this differencing is done for the first order, so we are keeping it ARIMA 1, 1 and 1, right? So now this model basically becomes ARIMA 1, 1, 1. Right? So this is how basically you deal with the mixture ARIMA models. So the general ARIMA PDQ gives a tremendous variety of patterns, right? So you can have only this, only this, only this, or a combination of this, right? So basically you can have, like, there are 3 terms here, so 2 raised to 3 combinations. I mean, of course, with respect to numbers, you can have an infinite ARIMA combinations because P can vary from 0 to n number of points, D can vary from 0 to n, Q also can vary to a high number, right? So basically, it's not practical to state rules for identifying general ARIMA models. So just by looking at the PCF, ACF, or by the time series, you cannot identify what ARIMA model will be suitable. So in practice, it is seldom necessary to deal with PDQ which are larger than 0, 1 or 2, right? So it applies to all. So basically P can be 0, 1 and 2. Difference can be 0, 1 and 2. Similarly, Q can be 0, 1 and 2. So it is remarkable that such small range of values can cover such large range of practical forecasting, right? So this is the beauty of ARIMA model. So can you imagine just for values of 0, 1, 2, right? So if you see from a permutation combination perspective, first place can be arranged in 3 ways, second place can be arranged in 3 ways, and the third place can be arranged in 3 ways, 3 into 3 into 3, right? So we have 27 possible combinations. That's it, and it can cover a variety of applications. Now seasonality, right? So for ARIMA model, there is also a concept for seasonality, which we will see more details later. So seasonality, what happens, as we have seen in the some examples, there is sometimes a seasonality associated with the data. So there is a slight modification. So as you can see, we have a seasonal MA model. So if you see this particular ARIMA, we have P, D, and Q as 0. So that means since the differencing was 0, it was a stationary time series, right? The AR 0 and MA 0, but you can see here 0, 0, 1, and there is a bracket here, subscript written as 12. So that means at every 12th instance, right, you will have a MA1 model only on the seasonal index, right? So the seasonal is 12 here. So that means every year at the 12th instance, you will have a MA1 model observed here. So it will show a spike at lag 12 in the ACF, right? So now you see this one is for the MA, right? Because it is P, D, and Q. This one is for MA. MA, what will it see? It will see ACF. And the PACF will show exponential decay in case of seasonal lags at 12, 24, this. So you will have something of this sort, something like this, right? It will show an exponential delay. And then seasonal AR model, AR again you see this is 100. Technically ARIMA is 0, but since it is seasonal, right? So this entire thing, right? So let me erase everything. So this entire thing, including the 12, basically represents the seasonal component. The left hand side is the ARIMA, and this basically represents the seasonal component. So if you see here, if I bring the pen here, this represents the MA. So basically it says it's a seasonal ARIMA model with MA of 1 at the 12th month. This is a seasonal ARIMA model with AR1 observed at the 12th instance. So let's say we are dealing with quarterly data. So this becomes 4. Sorry, this becomes a quarter has three months, right? 3 3 3 3, yeah. So if you see the quarterly data, this will become 0013 0013. Okay, so this is how seasonal AR models basically come into picture. So I think class, that's it for this class. Have a good day.